This is a book of Chinese jazz internal strength and mental methods. Only this kid believed that he was real, so he began to cultivate from a young age. This also led to being ridiculed by other children and unwilling to play with him. When he grew up, he didn't have much ability, and he was disgusted by his girlfriend and broke up with him. Since then, he has come to the internet cafe to spend time, eating, drinking, and sleeping in the internet cafe, and he has been in a slump. But the unexpected happened, and the computer he locked exploded, and then he traveled to another world. He fell from the sky and smashed at the feet of a monster with 3 heads, and he also knocked out other people's children. This made the 3-headed beast very angry, staring at him with fierce eyes. And he's still pressing, just about to get up and see what this place is. There was a smell from behind. This made the stinking wind stink, and quickly covered his nose and looked back. It's okay not to look at it. I was shocked when I saw it. He quickly got up and ran away. The 3-headed monster chased after him. At this time, the monster roared. Sound evolved into real attacks. Cut off a huge tree. Fortunately, the wind squatted down just now. But that's not all. The 3-headed beast launched an even more violent attack. I saw that the 3 heads condensed the force. At the same time, it was launched towards the flowing wind. It's about to be hit. He threw himself to the side, dodged the attack of the monster. Warcraft is going to have some more powerful skills. 3 heads roared at the sky. The condensed energy is even more powerful than just now. They fired again towards the flowing wind. A huge ball of energy flew towards the flowing wind. He was so frightened that he ran away. It's just too big. Can't hide it all. Moment of truth. In his head, the fear of the Huaxia internal strength body method that he had cultivated since he was a child appeared. It's endless. Materialize the wind. The sword is like a rainbow. Triple the force. Fast triple speed. Then a force surged out of his body. He didn't have time to think about it at the moment. Can only be a dead horse and a live horse doctor. Immediately cast a swift wind step. In an instant his person was gone. Dodged the attack of the monster, and escaped from the clutches of Warcraft. But it tires him out enough. I wanted to take a break. By the way, think about the Chinese internal strength that I practiced when I was a child. It's useless when you're on Earth, but it's easy to travel to another world. Suddenly, he felt something behind him. He turned his head to look. It's a monster that's even more ferocious than just now. Frightened, he ran away. In order to survive, he had to use the windbone again. He scurried into a bush. Who knows, it's a small cliff. There is also a very beautiful big girl standing underneath. Lu Feng saw it and hurriedly beckoned him and quickly dodged away. But it was too late for the girl to hear it. Lu Feng directly threw the girl to the ground. He looked at the girl's hot body. As a result, nosebleed will flow down uncontrollably. The girl hurriedly got up and covered herself and shouted, "Rogue," then slapped him hard. The monster heard the voice rise over, pounced on them from the grass. At this time, Lu Feng wanted to save his sister. Push him away. I was attacked by a demonic beast. He immediately fell to the ground. Consciousness also became a little blurred. Warcraft also wants to catch knives. An old man appeared at a critical moment. With a giant broadsword, he slashed at the monster, forced him back several places. Lu Feng was not killed, and this old man is actually a sister. Then the old man and the monster started a fierce battle, according to the night report. The granddaughter took care of Lu Feng. He held Lu Feng in his arms and asked, "You okay? Can you open your eyes?" Lu Feng said with difficulty after hearing this. It hurts. But to be able to die to protect such a lovely Mingmei." Straight. Afterwards, Lu Feng lived with him for more than half a month. Got a general idea of the world. It's a world of swords and sorcery. It's called Yelan Continent. And the law of survival here is also the law of the jungle. The strong are respected. Nowadays, the strongest of the human race are the 3 supreme level masters and 4 saint rank masters. They have supremacy. The 4 sages created 4 academies. Protégés are everywhere, except for the 3 statues who don't ask about the world. No one can shake the status of the four saints. The rules of the continent are firmly in their hands. The obedient is born. Death to the rebellious. There is no way to resist. But the old rules will be broken. His Holiness, who created new rules, has stepped through the void and descended. This person is the flowing wind. But he still needs some time to grow. And on this Yelan continent, everyone can cultivate Do Qi and magic. And according to the strength of the division into 11 ranks, the 9th order can be called a Grandmaster. The 10th order is the Holy Order. The highest is the Supreme. Legend has it that there is a higher order, but no one has reached it so far. And most of the human beings here are 3rd and 4th order water. But Grandpa Huck is a 5th order great swordsman. Will is one of the 4 saints, Randy's special recruit. This means that gifted students who have the opportunity to advance to the holy rank within 40 years. But Lu Feng will only have internal strength in Huaxia. There is no egg use at the time of the earth. I didn't expect it to be able to be used here. However, Huaxia's internal strength is completely different from the power system of this world. Therefore, he can only cultivate Huaxia internal strength. And Lu Feng has been in this half a month. He became a glass washer at Grandpa Huck's bar. Will is a beautiful waitress who delivers wine. When Lu Feng finished washing the wine glass, he was lazy. Will walked over and gave her a brain. Because just now she brought over a lot of wine glasses at one time. Worried about her slipping. The wound that was scratched by the monster before is about to recur again. After hearing this, Lu Feng hurriedly apologized to Will. Means that this will not be the case in the future. That's when Will had a question for her. It was that day in the forest. You don't even know me. Why save me? Aren't you afraid of death? Because Lu Feng was only thinking about saving people at that time. He didn't think too much. Besides, it's still such a beautiful girl. But there's one more point. She has no relatives in this world. Even if you die, no one cares. Will interrupted when he heard this. Don't say that. I'll care. From today, I am your family. Lu Feng smiled and nodded. Suddenly, a group of people approached. The leader came up and insulted Lu Feng. Tell him to stay away from his fiancée, Will. Lu Feng was taken aback when he heard this. Can't believe it. And this man's name is Lamo. His status is very special. The lord of the city was his father. He can do whatever he wants here. However, Will and he are not married. So this time I came to force him to marry him. Lu Feng on the side couldn't stand it anymore and blocked in front of Will. Seeing this, Renaud directly sent his men to attack Lu Feng. Performed the wind walk. Ran through them. When Renaud saw it, he raised the sword in his hand and slashed at Lu Feng. It's a pity that his speed is too slow. Lu Feng came behind him in an instant. If you provoke him, he's a bully. What else is there besides the doglegs? Renaud was furious. He slashed at Lu Feng again. But he still avoided it. But this time Lu Feng wants to make a move. One punch knocked Renaud into the air. And also beat up a bunch of his men. It took less than a minute to solve everyone. After this battle, his strength also made a breakthrough. Huaxia's internal strength has finally reached the entry level. But he didn't know that his current strength was equivalent to that of his sister in this world. At this time, Lu Feng looked at Mei Ming who was lying on the ground. I feel like I've overdone it. His father was the lord of the city. You won't come to us for trouble. Will said there was no need to be afraid. It's not right for them to be online. If the lord of the city comes to trouble us. I told Dean Randy. Lu Feng was no longer worried when he heard this. Take Will's hand. Get ready to visit the bazaar. When they come back from shopping, the moment they pushed the door open, they were stupid. The bar was in shambles. Grandpa Huck was even choked by a man. He is the city lord of Rama City, Thunder. Renaud saw Lu Feng and hurriedly told his father. It was he who insulted me. He also said that our family is all waste. The position of the lord of the city should be made by him. Thunder wasn't angry when he learned all this. Instead, Lu Feng was so angry that he directly attacked them. But in front of the Thunder, his movements were too slow. Just one finger kept him from moving. With a slight force, he was shocked to fly out. Will looked at it and went to tell the teacher. It's a pity that the thunder won't let him out of this room. He was going to kill people. So that Will's teacher wouldn't know. So Thunder grabbed Will by the neck with magic. As a result, he was unable to chant wrinkles. It's a little hard to breathe. Lu Feng gritted his teeth when he saw it. Got up again and rushed to the thunder. At this moment, the thunder threw Grandpa Huck on top of him. Then he took control of a sword. So's flew towards them. Grandpa Huck sensed that he could have dodged himself. But for Lu Feng's sake, he chose to block an arrow for him. Then let him hurry out of here with Will. Hold off the thunder yourself. At this moment, Thunder saw that he was in such a hurry to die. That's what happened to Grandpa Huck. Thunder clenched his fists and manipulated the magic. Grandpa Huck instantly turned into a puddle of blood. When Will saw this, he immediately lost his mind. Break free from the shackles of Thunder. The next second, it was controlled by Thunder. Lu Feng took this opportunity to want a sneak attack. It's a pity that his speed is like a turtle running in the eyes of Thunder. Knock him to the ground with just a hand. Then use magic to control him. I want him to watch a good show. That is, in his face. Let my son educate Will. Just when Renault was about to attack Will, Lu Feng used all his strength to break free from the restraints. Rushed to Renault. But he was stopped by the thunder. He wanted to blame Lu Feng for killing Will. Then give his head to Will's teacher, so that the thunder can get rid of suspicion. Just when Thunder was about to attack Lu Feng, Will erupted with a burst of energy that knocked Renault to the ground. Then a powerful gemstone appeared on the chest. Thunder panicked when he saw it. He's just going to blow himself up. Will looked at Lu Feng and burst into tears. And he said one last word. "Got to know you. Really happy. You have to live." At this moment, Lu Feng also cried. Because Will is the only person in this world who treats Lu Feng as his family. Lu Feng immediately cast the wind department. Wanted to stop him. It's a pity that it's just a little bit. Only grabbed the headband on his head. There was a loud bang. Directly blew the bar to ashes. However, the thunder and Renault were not killed. At this time, there was a white-haired woman in the house after the explosion. At the moment of Will's explosion, it was he who saved Will. At this moment, the white-haired woman looked at the father and son in front of her and mocked. "What are you? Dare to attack the holy voice of my Shinlan Academy?" At the same time in a forest, a portal opens. The flowing wind crawled out of it. He looked at the days in his hands. Immediately thought of Will and Grandpa Huck's deaths. He burst into tears of sadness. Swore to kill those two bastards. Avenge the death of Will and Grandpa Huck. He blamed himself very much. I want to go back to Whiting for revenge. Suddenly, there was a loud bang. Something huge smashed in front of him. It turned out to be a black dragon. There are also many human powerhouses. They are besieging this black dragon. And their purpose? I just want to get the black dragon's dragon egg. The strongest among them at the moment was this white-haired old man. His weapon is still a holy weapon. It's a pity to face the powerful black dragon. Even if you have a holy weapon, it's not easy to use. Lu Feng was stunned when he saw it. That's when the black dragon spotted him. The man who thought he was the old man. Look at him as a person. So the black dragon was ready to eat him in one bite. But the black dragon suddenly stopped attacking. He smelled the scent of Lu Feng's body. It turned out that he was an earthling. At this time, the group besieging the black dragon took this opportunity to shoot arrows at him. But these swords shot at the black dragon like tickling. But there was a sword with magic that shot at Lu Feng. Seeing this, the black dragon stood in front of him. As a result, he was also injured. Lu Feng was puzzled. "Why did you save me?" The black dragon did not explain. Because the humans launched a horde attack on him. At this time, the two 7th Order powerhouses used the Cloud Fire skill on him. The black dragon in order not to let Lu Feng get hurt. Defend him from the flames with his wings. Then tell Lu Feng, "I'm here to stop these people. You go first." This passage reminded Lu Feng of Grandpa Huck's death. At this moment, he didn't want to be protected anymore. In an instant, an astonishing force erupted from his body. The black dragon was stunned when he saw it. And this force directly forced those human powerhouses back to Count the Charming. This made Lu Feng's body change a little, because there was a drop of black dragon's blood fused into his body. Opened up his 8 veins. Has become a peerless martial arts wizard. He instantly mastered the incorruptible body of King Kong in the inner palace of Huaxia. Then he angrily rushed at the strong ones. One of the green hairs looked at him and mocked him. Such a rampaging identity. It's rubbish. At this time, there was a girl with an axe. Teleported to Lu Feng. An axe came at him. Lu Feng caught his blow with his bare hands. The energy generated by the two of them was shocked and flew out of each other's air. When the black dragon saw it, he caught Lu Feng with his tail and reminded him not to be impulsive, because these people are all 7th order masters, and he still has leftovers in his hand. Lu Feng didn't care. He broke free from the black dragon's shackles. Perform a swift step. Teleport behind the woman. Then he kicked him. By the time the woman reacted, it was too late to dodge. Fortunately, the green hair used a hammer in time. Blocked Lu Feng's kick for him. However, the damage of the green hair's hammer is also very powerful. Actually directly shot Lu Feng dozens of meters away. Before Lu Feng could gain a foothold, the green fur picked up the hammer and cast the cloud fire skill on him. Fortunately, the black dragon is fast enough. Blocked the blow for him. Suddenly, Lu Feng vomited blood. Exhaust his inner strength. It can no longer support the indestructible body of Vajra. He lay weakly on the ground. The black dragon was very anxious when he saw it. It also gives the old man a chance. An arrow slashed him. Immediately after that, the old man took the high-ranking grandmaster. A final assault was launched on him. The black dragon also sensed that something was wrong. He grabbed Lu Feng. Immediately shoot an arrow at the black dragon. And the 7th order sword was to stop the black dragon from leaving. He directly threw the holy sword in his hand, stuck in the black dragon's chest. It's a pity that it still can't stop the black dragon from leaving. He jumped, entered the space magic teleportation array, managed to escape from here. But these human masters didn't seem to be in a hurry at all when they saw it, because the axe woman planted tracking magic on the black dragon. This man is the human form of the black dragon. His name is Art. Like Lu Feng, he is an earthling. Traveled to this place half a year ago. That's when he woke up and found that he had turned into a black dragon, and also spit out an egg from his mouth. And those human robbers are the 4 empires, and the people who support the legions. They got together to snatch his dragon eggs. With that, he went to the garbage dump and began to rummage through his dragon eggs. Lu Feng looked at it with a fierce face. Why did you hide the dragon eggs in the garbage? Art said it was safe to hide here. That's when Art found the dragon egg. He looks like an enlarged version of an egg. Although this dragon egg is not raw, but spit out. Art still thinks this is his child. I also hope that the hatch is a girl. At this time, Art handed the dragon egg to Lu Feng. Lend him a report of the crushing shock. At this moment, Lu Feng has a question for Arte. Why are you being attacked by humans as a dragon? According to Lu Feng's understanding, in this world, there are less than 100 dragons. They're very mutually reinforcing. Do so. Aren't the people of the 4 great empires afraid of being retaliated against by the entire dragon clan? Art says that the dragons are indeed fighting each other. For a number of reasons though. Years ago, the black dragon stole the dragon god's egg. As a result, the black dragons were expelled from the dragons, no longer under the protection of the dragons. So those humans who have coveted dragons for a long time hit the idea on the black dragon clan. And if an empire has a dragon, then there is the power to dominate the continent. But those grown dragons will certainly not be under their command. So the black dragon's dragon egg became their target. As long as you grow up from a young age. They then possessed a giant black dragon in their possession. At this time, Art guessed from the chat that it had been a while since the wind had crossed over. He wondered why flowing wind had run into the forest so deep alone. I was almost injured by mistake. Speaking of this, I remembered sad things. It's all my naivety that hurt Will and Grandpa Huck. I'm going to kill those murderers to honor Will and Grandpa Huck for their heavenly gifts. When Art heard this, he suddenly remembered something. There is a goddess of life in this world. According to legend, the resurrection of the undead by the goddess of life is a matter of minutes. This gave Lu Fengran hope. He just wanted to ask how he could find the goddess of life. Suddenly, the mountains shook. Art looked at the blue butterfly and knew why. It's those guys just now. Found it through tracking magic. So Art decided to open the teleportation array again. I want to send the dragon egg and Lu Feng out. He came to lure away the human powerhouses. This made Lu Feng a little worried about his safety. But don't worry. Artico is an adult giant. As long as he wants to run, none of these humans could stop him. At this time, Art threw the old man's grandeur to Lu Feng and asked him to use it. But remember, never overdo it. Otherwise, it will be backlashed. Yate then opened the teleportation circle, pushed Lu Feng in. Suddenly, a powerful wave of spiritual power hit the teleportation array. This caused the teleportation to be offset. Art also wanted to stop it. It's a pity it's too late. Lu Feng had already entered it, holding the dragon egg. The human powerhouses have found the black dragon. So the black dragon opened the teleportation circle, teleported Lu Feng and the dragon egg. But it was hit by the powerful spiritual power of those human beings into the magic circle. Causes a position shift. Lu Feng and the dragon egg were transported to the savannah of the people-giving area. At this time, Lu Feng found that there were cracks in the dragon egg. Suddenly, there was a bright light from the dragon's egg. There was a loud bang. Directly blew Lu Feng out. What you know is that you are hatching dragon eggs. Those who don't know thought the atomic bomb had exploded. After the smoke and dust cleared, a golden dragon appeared in front of Lu Feng. He looks a lot like a Chinese dragon. However, Lu Feng wanted to know that he was a business mother. Suddenly, the little golden dragon turned into a cloud of smoke. Transfiguration into a human form. Went up and gave Lu Feng a kick. And said, "It's a boy." Lu Feng was speechless when he heard this. But the little golden dragon is indeed a boy. Then he conjured up another suit for himself to wear. Then he sat on Lu Feng's head and said, "Hungry." Lu Feng was very flustered when he heard this. I thought he was going to drink milk. In fact, people don't drink milk, only eat meat. Lu Feng breathed a sigh of relief afterwards. Pick up the swagger on the ground. Prepare to give your child a whole bit of meat. An hour later, Lu Feng found a delicacy for Xiaolong. When Xiaolong ate it, he looked disgusted. The taste is average. I am not satisfied. This made Lu Feng angry. For the sake of being a child, don't care about him. At this time, Lu Feng remembered that Yate hadn't told him Xiaolong's name yet. So Lu Feng named Xiaolong Xiaojin. But just by looking at Xiaojin's expression, you can know how disgusted he is. After eating and drinking, Xiaojin fell asleep in Lu Feng's arms. He looked at Xiaojin and swore secretly, "We'll definitely protect Xiaojin. And to make yourself stronger, then resurrect will them." So Lu Feng planned to train himself in this place where demonic beasts were rampant. After that, find a safe place to stay. Collect clues to the goddess of life. Then find a way to find Art, and he will return. 10 days passed. The two of them actually lay on the ground. There are also signs all around. It says come and eat. It turned out that Lu Feng was using himself as a young child to hunt. At this time, the demonic beast, the red wolf, quietly walked towards them. You can kill the red wolf and eat the meat. But in the distance came a group of mercenaries. The red wolf looked at them. The mercenary checked the situation with his glasses. 2 people were found. Lu Feng waved his hand sturdily and motioned for them to leave quickly. Don't delay hunting yourself. But people misunderstood. Thought that Lu Feng was beckoning to them for help. But that red wolf had the strength of the 7th Order. They can't beat it at all. But the head of the regiment still decided to save Lu Feng. At this time, the bald heads and the support of the soldiers felt that this was a little strange. There were a lot of warcraft in this generation. But this time we walked for a long time. But I never found it. It's also so abnormal. And the arrangement around the boy didn't look bad. I'm afraid there's something wrong inside. The head of the regiment listened to it and felt that what he said was right. But human lives matter. He can't die without help. The four of them immediately took out their weapons. A fierce attack was launched against the Red Wolf. The Red Wolf leapt and pounced on them. The regiment commander was strong and ran away with his teammates. Then tell Lu Feng loudly, "Let's lure the Red Wolf away. Flee quickly." Jean cried when he saw the food leave in front of him. Lu Feng was also speechless. "But they were in danger trying to save us. We can't sit idly by." Then Lu Feng chased after him. The regimental commander's side is still running away. And this Red Wolf chased after him. They simply can't get rid of it. The old man in it regretted why he had become a hero just now. It's over. The main thing is that he hasn't held the hand of the young lady yet. At this time, the regimental commander ran and tripped over a stone. Seeing this opportunity, the Red Wolf jumped and pounced. The head of the regiment is at stake. It's about to become the mouth of the Red Wolf. The soldiers wanted to run. It's a pity that it's too late. Just when the regimental commander was in danger, Lu Feng cut off the Red Wolf's head with a sword. Everyone was stunned by this scene. In the evening, they made the Red Wolf for dinner. The regiment commander wanted to invite Lu Feng to join his support corps. At first, he was a little reluctant. But to hear Qin say that he is very familiar with the whole continent, Lu Feng excitedly asked him where the goddess of life was. This Qin really doesn't know. Because many years ago, after the War of the Gods ended, the gods of the world ceased their activities. Since then, no one has ever seen the goddess of life again. Lu Feng, who had just seen hope, became very disappointed again. Qin reassured him not to be discouraged. Although no one has ever seen the goddess of life. But that doesn't mean the goddess of life doesn't exist. And you just have to be a mercenary. You can go to the mercenary union. There you can buy all kinds of information. Perhaps there is the whereabouts of the goddess of life. You can also take on tasks to earn coins. Eat and drink without worry. Big fish, big meat. Lu Feng listened and rekindled hope. And Xiao Jin thought that there was endless food. The two immediately agreed. This made Captain Qin very happy. There is such a master joining. Their mercenary group has a chance to become the top mercenary group. Next day, Qin took Lu Feng to the fortress where the sun never sets. Later, they found a bar dedicated to mercenaries. It's not just the wine that's delicious. The hostess was even more beautiful. He took Lu Feng a glass of wine, but giving Xiao Jin is a glass of juice. He was not convinced. Drink beer too. The proprietress told Jean that minors were not allowed to drink. Jean said that the time spent in the egg was counted. I'm hundreds of years old. The proprietress laughed. Do you want to say that you are a dragon? Little King Kong wants to admit it. Lu Feng immediately covered his mouth. Said that Xiao Jin loves to brag. The proprietress listened and left. This made Xiao Jin very confused. Why don't you let the young lady know that I am a dragon? Lu Feng checked left and right to see no one. Then whispered to Xiao Jin, if you admit that you are a dragon, everyone here will hunt us down. Do you want to die? This scared Jean and shivered. I had to drink obediently. At this time, Qin saw Lu Feng sitting there motionless, thinking that they were hungry. He said very generously, feel free to order whatever you want to eat. I'm in for a treat. This made Xiao Jin very happy. Immediately called out to the beautiful sister. Give me the menu. I ordered. Then the proprietress took a plate of barbecue and handed it to Xiao Jin. Lu Feng asked Qin, is there really an intelligence monger here who knows the news of the goddess of life? Qin listened and said that the sun never sets, and the drug plug is the place where the most information traffickers are located. There are a few information mongers there. Let's go over and ask. The result made Lu Feng very disappointed. I don't know either. But Lu Feng will not give up. Suddenly a noise caught their attention. So they went over and took a look. Kim was munching on barbecue. Qin was dumbfounded. I can't believe that Xiao Jin can eat it so much. Lu Feng covered his face in embarrassment. Explained that Kim is growing her body. Eat a little too much. As soon as she finished speaking, the proprietress came over with a plate of barbecue. Several people looked stupid. Are you sure it's just a little too much? No wonder there are no magical beasts on the Shorin grassland. At this time, A group of people walked in at the door of the bar. They are people who want to support the army in a wild way. The leader is the deputy head of the regiment, Huaxia. Kins panicked when he saw them. I didn't expect them to come. The big guy in front of him is a master of stammering. But he didn't know how to provoke Lu Feng. However, the master of stammering is like a hemp ant in Lu Feng's eyes. Not even qualified to let him draw his sword. So Lu Feng planned to use this straw to defeat this big guy. The crowd was amazed. I can't believe he has this strength. But Kins was the only one who believed in him. Kins went to a gamble with a few people. Lu Feng and Huaxia are ready to be rescued. Huaxia was the first to attack. He rushed towards Lu Feng like a giant bear. At this moment, Lu Feng planned to use the new trick he had just comprehended to deal with him. At the moment when the big guy hit Lu Feng became two people. The big guy was a little violent. Immediately afterwards, Lu Feng poked him in the chest with straws. A powerful internal force directly knocked the big man out of the house. Kins was overjoyed when he saw it. Hurriedly asked a few people for money. At this time, the big man's men panicked. They dragged the fainted boss and ran away. And shouted loudly, "Our head of the regiment will settle accounts with you." Afterwards, Kins walked up to Lu Feng with 2 bags of gold coins. Ready to give him half of it. Lu Feng rejected his kindness. Instead, let him leave it to the mercenary group as a fund. Then Kins took the money and went to the counter to settle the bill. Who knows that this money is simply not enough? Looking at Jimmy's bill, Kins even had the heart to die. Little gold brothers. How much did you eat? No more, no less. It's just a crop. Lu Feng was speechless and didn't want to look at him. But they didn't have the money to settle the bill, so they had to mortgage their clothes. Just as they were walking home, a mysterious figure appeared behind him. "I have a commission. I don't know if you want to see it." Meanwhile, in a huge church, this is the backyard of the Rhapsody Legion. Several people were trapped in the swamp at the moment. They begged the head of the Motu group to let them go. "We know it's wrong. Spare us. Next time we'll die. I will definitely complete the task." Commander Motu ignored it. By the end, they were completely stuck in the swamp. At this time, the deputy commander's subordinates hurriedly ran over. Commander of the Ink Soil. Deputy head Huaxia was wounded. That person seemed to be Qin Xixin's helper. And that man defeated Deputy Commander Huaxia with only one move. Captain Motu was very curious when he heard this. And so came out of the swamp. Get ready to see for yourself. Lu Feng, who can defeat the 8th Order Huaxia in one move. The other side. Mercenary Guild. Lu Feng and the 3 of them came here. The task entrusted to them by the mysterious man just now has not yet been accepted. Lu Feng is required to obtain the qualification of a 7th Order mercenary. In this way, he can take on the C-class mission that the mysterious man said. However, Lu Feng became suspicious of this mysterious person. He always felt that something was wrong. Soon they came to the Mercenary Union Hall. The stone in front of me is used to test strength. Just by attacking the stones, you can test a few pieces. Lu Feng stepped forward to apply for registration. The staff checked him in. Then he walked over to the stone. I hit it with all my strength. But the stone didn't react. Everyone in the staff has taken a fancy to it. It shouldn't be. He leaned over to take a closer look at Lu Feng. It was discovered that he had no vindictiveness and no magic. This annoyed the staff a little. At this time, there was a strong man who was not used to seeing a waste of time. Grabbed him and mocked. "Brat, if it's waste, just stay at home and don't come out. Don't come out and be embarrassed." At this moment, Lu Feng said in a low voice, "Let go." The strong man couldn't help but laugh when he heard it. "Did you see that? This crap actually made me let go." As soon as he said that, he regretted it. Lu Feng knocked him to the ground with a punch. Everyone was dumbfounded. Then Lu Feng planned to test it again. But suddenly a woman walked by. She muttered angrily, "What are you arguing about? Just when who fights? The rules prohibiting private fights in the Union Hall have been forgotten. You guys don't have itchy skin? And this woman is the fortress on which the sun never sets." Sophie, president of the Mercenary Guild. Don't look at this woman as pretty. Her strength is also quite awesome. The identity is the president of the Military Support Association. Because Lu Feng didn't have fighting spirit and magic, he couldn't test a few pieces. Sophie had to try for herself how good he was. Just when both sides are ready, Lu Feng was about to draw his sword. Sophie dragged a heavy steamed bun and rushed towards Lu Feng. A stab stabbed him. It's a pity that it's just an illusion. This is the vanity left by Lu Feng's performance of the Wind Department. Sophie unfortunately misses him. Stab Lu Feng again. However, he was easily dodged by Lu Feng. Sophie was going to use the best trick. He slashed at Lu Feng again. He cut off a few of her hairs. It's a little bit faster than just now, according to Lu Feng's observation. Sophie seems to have used some kind of secret method. Overdraw yourself to increase the speed. She didn't expect Sophie to be so crazy about winning. She was going to stop her. At the moment when Sophie attacked her, Lu Feng and the Wind Department disappeared. The next second appeared next to Sophie. Lu Feng took the hilt of his sword and aimed it at her body. Sophie lost the battle. Lu Feng got the qualification to support the army. Sophie took her to the office. Give her a special reward. What else do you want to say? At this moment, Lu Feng could see at a glance that something was wrong with Sophie. It was super fierce just now. Now they seduced him. There's definitely something wrong with that. Lu Feng said that as long as he is qualified. I'm not interested in you either. Sophie saw him so determined. Alright. You've passed the test. It turned out that Sophie wanted to invite him to join her knights. As one of the heirs of the pro-military union, each one needs to have their own support corps. And the knights are Sophie's supporters. He saw that Lu Feng was strong. The character is also good. That's why I invited him to join. At this time, Lu Feng had a question. The rest of the order. That's how you recruited them. Speaking of which, Sophie is angry. Those people stayed because they coveted Sophie's beauty. But they don't listen to Sophie at all. So they were dismissed. But Lu Feng is different from them. Sophie offered him a lucrative offer. Just join. The position of the head of the regiment is Lu Feng's. In addition to a fixed remuneration every month. You can also prioritize tasks. And the quest bounty is doubled. It's a pity that Lu Feng still rejected him. Because Lu Feng didn't want to be a light sensing commander. And he had more important things to do. Also, he's joined Qin's Ardor bandwagon. This made the proprietress gnash her teeth in anger. Then he took out a badge of a 7th Order support soldier. Because Lu Feng could not pass the test. According to the regulations, the badge of supporting the army can only be issued at the level of the examiner. Sophie currently only has a 7th Order. So he can only be given the 7th Order. Lu Feng was very happy when he heard it. The 7th Order is just right for JC level tasks. He left the Union with his badge. Afterwards, Kins wanted to celebrate with the group. No matter how much they knocked on the door, they didn't respond. Enraged, Kins kicked the door open. I was shocked to see what was going on inside the house. There was a battle inside. A few words were also written on the wall. They are in my hands. Ink soil. It seems that they were kidnapped by Motu. Lu Feng was about to go to the mercenary group in Motu to rescue them, but was stopped by Kins. He knew how powerful Motu and his mercenary group were. So I don't want brother Lu Feng to die. This can be dealt with by the law enforcement team. But Lu Feng knew it in his heart. It's useless to look for them. Falsely promised Kins to go to the law enforcement team tomorrow morning. In the evening, while Kins was drunk, Lu Feng went to the Rhapsody mercenary group alone. Lu Feng's friend was kidnapped. Alone in the enemy's stronghold, save them. And he will be greeted by a fierce attack from the enemy. It's a pity that they underestimated Lu Feng's strength. Put Lu Feng's SP that any one of them could hit before. Now facing these scum who are not even the 7th Order. Lu Feng solved them in minutes. When the mage sneaks up on him, he can still easily dodge it. And he was able to pinpoint the location where the magician was hiding. Then he pulled out his accessories and threw them at him. I didn't hit it though, but it scared him to death. At this moment, Lu Feng noticed that there were many people hiding in secret. He shouted loudly, Ink soil. I only dare to let my subordinates be sent to death. Is that what makes you great? Mo2 listened and spoke. It is worthy of being a one-trick defeat. It's amazing. You are no match for him. Let's all go down. The people who were hiding in the shadows left the place. Mo2 said that he wanted to fight with Lu Feng in a dignified manner. When Lu Feng came to the center of the hospital, he has fallen into the trap that Mo2 has carefully prepared for him. His feet sank into the swamp, and he couldn't move. If you want to get out of trouble, you must find the body of Inkland. And his body is in the swamp. But Lu Feng didn't know. At this time, Mo2 ordered the archers to shoot Lu Feng to death. But I shouted it several times. But no one shot an arrow at him. The archers who had been standing on the wall were all gone. Suddenly, a woman appeared on the wall. It turns out that the missing archers are all his faults. At this time, he threw the leather whip at Lu Feng. Lu Feng slammed his sword and grabbed the leather whip. The woman pulled him out of the swamp with a hard pull. When Mo2 saw it, he condensed the swamp monster and launched an attack on Lu Feng. Lu Feng took out the matching sword and directly slashed the swamp monster. But he recovered in an instant. I want to smash the swamp monster completely. The body of the ink soil must be found. At this time, the woman told Lu Feng. The ink soil is hidden in the swamp. As long as he destroys the swamp, he has no tricks. After that, the woman used her weapon magic. He froze the entire swamp into ice. Mo2 was successfully forced out of the swamp by him. Lu Feng immediately rushed over with his sword. In the next second, Mo2 actually knelt in front of Lu Feng. But it made Lu Feng look violent. Mo2 then apologized to him for today's incident. Also took out a lot of money to him. Suddenly, Mo2 took out a scroll of magic ray diagrams and threw it at Lu Feng. And everything just now is him acting. But this little magic circle can't help Lu Feng. He immediately cast the wind division. Instantly came behind Mo2. An arrow pierced him in the chest. I thought that the Yongpor would be removed from the fortress of the sun never set. That's when the mysterious woman jumped off the wall. He's no one else. It was Sophie, president of the Pro-Soldier Union. He knew that Mo2 was sinister and cunning. Guessed that Lu Feng, a novice, would suffer. So I came to help. The most important thing is to invite him to join his own support group. If you don't agree, you'll need to pay Sophie's appearance fee. The mess adds up to a total of 8,000 gold coins. Even so, Lu Feng would rather pay back the money than join his knights. But Sophie had expected it. Said that sooner or later he would join his own support group. And the members of the group who were kidnapped by Mo2 were also found. They were hypnotized by ink soil with magic and knew nothing. So just take it back with you. But the aftermath here is still for Sophie to deal with. The expenses were sent to Lu Feng's account. And this time Lu Feng was able to win thanks to Sophie. He was very grateful to Sophie for her help. From this moment on, the two became good friends. The day after Lu Feng destroyed the Rhapsody mercenary group, the news spread throughout the fortress where the sun never sets. This made a mysterious powerhouse target Lu Feng. For their safety, Lu Feng followed the cloaked man alone to the edge of the orc grassland. The mysterious man then revealed his identity to him. He is Okuwa, the captain of the law enforcement team of the fortress where the sun never sets. He came to Lu Feng. It was Lu Feng who suspected that the matter of the Rhapsodic mercenary group was done by Lu Feng. Although there is no evidence. But he had a way to convict Lu Feng. That is to kill him. So whether it's the real murderer or not, all the charges are Lu Feng's back. Lu Feng was disappointed by these words. I didn't expect the captain of the law enforcement team who upholds justice to be so corrupt. At this moment, Lu Feng wanted to confirm with Ohei before he started. Whether he is the strength of the peak of the Ninth Order. That's right. I am the peak strength of the Ninth Order. You're scared. Hehe. Lu Feng was just thinking. If you can defeat him, then you can go back and avenge Will. That's when Ohei took the lead in attacking. A sword slashed at Lu Feng. It's a pity that this is just a phantom after Lu Feng cast the wind department and disappeared. The real Lu Feng had already come behind him. But Ohei reacted very quickly, blocked his attack, and also gave Lu Feng a few meters to repel. It can well be imagined. He is stronger than Lu Feng by strength alone. and Lu Feng was very surprised that he was able to resist Ohei's power sword just now. It was a bit more than he expected. This made Ohei more and more interested in Lu Feng. He clenched his sword and slashed at Lu Feng again. But every time he was dodged by Lu Feng with the wind department. But this sword is stronger than ever. If this time the wind is still used to dodge the wind, this requires a lot of internal force. So he needs to save a little bit. This move he intends to block hard. Thankfully, the wind resisted. At this moment, Ohei also understood Liu Feng's strange moves, knowing that he can instantly increase his strength. As for the strange way, it should be a limit on the number of times it can be used, or it needs to consume a lot of energy. One more point. Your fighting skills don't seem to be as good as mine. Now that's the end of the warm-up. I'm going to give it my all. I saw that Ohei's whole body was wrapped in armor formed by flames. This is exactly the ability that only the 9 peak powerhouses have. It's called fighting horse armor. Before he made a move, he kindly reminded Lu Feng, "You'd better show power, or you'll die." Lu Feng is no longer hiding. He also wielded his power to face the battle. Meanwhile, Kim sighed. He waited for Lu Feng to wait a little impatiently. The chicken thighs are almost finished. Suddenly, the black armor walked in through the door. The reason why he didn't disappear. Because he escaped last night while healing his wounds, knowing that his mercenary group is gone. So he planned to kill Kins and this little cub to avenge the regimental commander. He quietly walked behind Xiao Jin, raised a 10-meter big knife and stabbed Xiao Jin. The results were unexpected. There was a cry from inside the house. Wu Kai died inexplicably. This scene happened to be seen by Sophie, who came to look for Lu Feng. Jin explained to him, "I was eating meat just now, and he appeared out of nowhere. He stabbed me with a knife." Sophie heard it and thought it was Lu Feng who knocked it down. But it's not. It was Xiao Jin who knocked him down. Just now, Xiao Jin just raised his hand to block it, and he flew out and became like this. Sophie looked at Xiao Jin and didn't believe it at all. This is obviously a little kid with 0 combat effectiveness. How is it possible to bring down Ukai? Suddenly, Sophie finds a bottle of wine next to her. Guess it should be Ukai who stepped on the bottle and fell. As a result, the child mistakenly thought that he had knocked him down. Sophie didn't think much of it, so he asked where Xiao Jin Lu Feng went. Xiao Jin hurriedly explained. Lu Feng was called away by a mysterious person. The man was dressed in a black robe. There is also the sun and the sky skin in the back. At this moment, Sophie guessed that it was the captain of the law enforcement team. He suddenly felt bad. Then he chased after him in the direction described by Xiao Jin. He had just left the law enforcement team and went to Kim's side. Fortunately, Sophie arranged for someone to block the law enforcement team. Then he continued to set off to find Lu Feng. This is one of the strongest opponents Lu Feng has ever encountered. The two of them are both 9th order strengths. To distinguish the winner from the loser, either the fighting skills are better than the opponent's, either there are more skills than the other party. Obviously, both of them have their own strengths. At this time, Lu Feng cast a mirror doppelganger. Ohei was very surprised when he saw it. Mistakenly thought that he was a clone created by illusion, specially designed to confuse opponents. At this moment, Lu Feng's doppelganger rushed towards Ohei. When Ohei saw it, he resisted it with his sword. But it struck him as strange. I didn't expect it to be 2 clones attacking at the same time. In Ohei's dictionary, the clone is supposed to be an illusion to interfere with the enemy. But he never expected it. Lu Feng's doppelganger is substantial. It also has 30% of the attack power of the main body. This made Ohei mistakenly think that the one in front of him was Lu Feng's body. Actually, the latter is. Lu Feng seized the opportunity to cast the wind department. Instantly came behind him. A sword slashed at Ohei. Fortunately, Ohei reacted quickly, blocked Lu Feng's attack with his other arm, even knocked him out to Count Mingyuan. This was the moment he understood. The clone Lu Feng made was different from what he knew. It's actually a real doppelganger trick. It's simply unheard of. At this moment, the physical strength of both of them is almost exhausted. They decide on one trick to decide the winner. Lu Feng jumped into the air with a swift wind step. O'Hare seized the opportunity. Performed the strongest move. Sunset. The range of this move is huge. Lu Feng's swift wind step could only speed up and couldn't dodge it at all. Isn't there any other way? Suddenly, Lu Feng thought that Huaxia internal strength still had a trick to dodge. That's pleasing to the eye. In the next second, Lu Feng moved to the eyes of Aoha. He raised the sword in his hand and performed his most powerful stunt yet. Critical blow. This move boosted his attacks by a factor of 4. Boom bang. Aoha's fighting armor was shattered by Lu Feng. Although Lu Feng won this battle, but it was only a narrow win over O'Hare. So it will take a while to hone it for a while before you can go to Thunder for revenge. At this time, O'Hare wanted to know how Lu Feng had split his Dochi armor. Lu Feng told him, "There is no absolute defense in the world. The best offense is defense." O'Hare laughed afterward. He had an epiphany. Since he stepped into the 9th Order Comprehension Dochi armor, he was always dependent on him. I haven't practiced the other attacks much. Only then did O'Hare understand why he hadn't improved his strength after cultivating for so many years. So it was. Thank you, little brother, for the on-demand. Lu Feng was a little speechless when he heard this. I thought I'm just saying it casually. You can have an epiphany. Then O'Hare reminded him. Go back and see your friends. With these words, Lu Feng mistakenly thought that O'Hare had hurt his friend. Not really. Instead, O'Hare sent someone to save his friend. Your friend is probably a pile of corpses now. Cut the grass and get the roots. And you made this lowest mistake. Hearing this, Lu Feng understood. The man O'Hare was talking about was none other than Yukin. However, Lu Feng had already taken precautions. Don't say it's Wukong. Even if it's you. There is no chance to attack them. Do you believe it? O'Hare didn't believe it at all. But it's okay not to believe it. Lu Feng wouldn't tell him why. And what Lu Feng said just now was not a big deal. As long as there is shouting, almost no one can catch them and gnaw them. Although Xiao Jin doesn't know how strong he is yet. Just by strength, I guess no one is his opponent. After the battle between Lu Feng and the captain of the law enforcement team, only then did Lu Feng understand that he was not a bad person. O'Hare was just very interested in Lu Feng's strength. The beginning deliberately provokes him. I just want him to use his real strength to fight with him. As a result, I didn't expect Lu Feng to be so strong. He was also defeated. But Lu Feng is not satisfied with the status quo. He's going to get stronger. This time he was able to win against O'Hare only with more moves than him. It can only be regarded as opportunistic. In addition to testing Lu Feng's strength this time, Aoha also has a purpose. After a while, it was the day of the great duel between the human race and the beast race. They will invade and plunder the Terrans. And that's why orcs do it. It is because the land in the north is not rich in grain. They are very diverse. Therefore, he has always coveted the fertile land of mankind. But at the same time, they are also afraid of the strong men of the human race. After consultation, every 3 years, humans and orcs will have a duel. If the Terrans win, the orcs will retreat. No more offenses will come to the Terrans for 3 years. Then wait for the next duel to come. Lu Feng had a question after hearing this. Why don't the Terrans take the initiative after they win? A wave of anger can wreak havoc on and even destroy the orcs. It's not like these humans haven't thought about it. It's just that the northern steppes have a vast territory. Vast but sparsely populated. The orcs are hidden. It was difficult for the Terran army to find them. Not to mention elimination. I heard that the Terrans were really enough. But this is for the Terrans. It is enough to ensure that the border is safe. And every time there is a big duel, the human race and the orc attach great importance to it. Will send their respective elites into battle. It's a pity that the last duel was lost. The orcs took the opportunity to invade. The Terrans suffered heavy losses. So this time the dueling Terrans can't afford to lose again. At that time, the 4 major academies of the Terran race will also send elites to come. But last year the orcs sent 2 9th-time masters. There's a good chance they'll play again this time. And in the Sunset Medicine race, only Lu Feng and O'Hare are both in the 9th session. So Oh-hei hopes that Lu Feng can play with him. This way the Terrans will have a better chance of winning. Lu Feng agreed without hesitation when he heard this. As a Terran, you can fight for the Terrans. Lu Feng also did not hesitate. Oh-hei saw Lu Feng agreeing happily like a child. The other side. Sophie has come to the border of the Orc steppe. Just now, I was thinking about why I hadn't found Lu Feng yet. As a result, not far away, I saw Lu Feng walking alone on the grassland. He hurriedly ran over and asked if you were okay. Lu Feng was a little surprised when he saw Sophie coming. At this moment, Sophie realizes that Oh-hei is not by his side. Mistakenly thought that Lu Feng had killed him too. Now it's a bit harder. Sophie thought about the next escape route for Lu Feng. This made Lu Feng a little speechless. So he explained to Sophie. Big brother Oh-hei is fine. He went to the show Great Prairie to investigate the enemy situation. Just now he found wolf smoke rising from the Shorin grassland. Ready to check it out. And I came across it on the way back to the medicine competition. Sophie was taken aback. There are still a lot of questions to know. Afterwards they returned to the sunset medicine race. Here is Sophie's big villa. He prepared a sumptuous dinner for Lu Feng. In the meantime, Lu Feng told Sophie the ins and outs of the matter. Sophie was amazed. I didn't expect Lu Feng to win Oh-hei. But Sophie couldn't figure it out. You promised Oh-hei to participate in the orc duel. Wouldn't it be too hasty? At this moment, Lu Feng didn't understand why Sophie said this. It seems that Oh-hei has a lot to hide from you. Lu Feng agreed to the duel without hesitation. But I don't know how strong the orcs are. Each of their orcs will go berserk in skill. Once cast, instantly increases your ATK by 50%. So the orcs are much stronger than the humans. But the frenzy skill also has a flaw. As long as this skill is used, the orcs will then fall into a killing spree. Until physical exhaustion. And in the previous duels, orcs will use madness in order to win. In that case, even if humanity wins, it will be a miserable victory. If you fail, you will be torn to shreds by the orcs. In this way, Lu Feng feels that it is indeed quite dangerous. But since you agreed, you can't go back. Besides, Lu Feng is still a coercive. How could you not beat the orcs? Sophie had a lot of worries in her heart at the moment. Because the older generation in the family thinks that women are not worthy of being heirs. Wanted to kick her out of the mercenary society heirs. But if Sophie can bring in a 9-time master for the headquarters, then she'll turn things around. There is also hope to compete for the president of the headquarters mercenary association. And Lu Feng is the person she wants to introduce. That's why Lu Feng was invited to join the Knights. It's a pity that it was rejected. Lu Feng heard her words. Promised her to join the order. This made Sophie very happy. Suddenly, Sophie felt a pain in her chest. Spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Feng looked stupid. Make no mistake. I agree to help you. You're so excited that you're vomiting blood. Not. This is just a sequelae of Sophie's use of dismemberment. Emotional agitation can lead to internal injuries. Never mind. Just bear with it. At this time, Lu Feng thought of his Huaxia internal strength. Maybe it can help Sophie with ease. So Lu Feng held Sophie's hand, injected his own internal force into his body. Something magical happened. Sophie asked in surprise. What did you do? The pain of my internal injuries was relieved. At this moment, Sophie remembered what the elder had said. Dismemberment of internal injuries can be resolved. It's a pity that the ancestral edict records that it can resolve internal injuries. But by what means is not said. This was solved by Lu Feng. Now his internal injuries are gone. Seeing Lu Feng holding his hand, he shyly withdrew back. Said he was fine. He still has an urgent matter to say to Lu Feng. Sophie then took out a letter and showed it to him. Lu Feng was a little surprised when he saw it. This commission has the same message and logo as the previous one commissioned by the mysterious man. And this is the hallmark of the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. It is one of the 3 major chambers of commerce in mainland China. They are well organized and huge. Financial resources are staggering. Have your own shipping team. Therefore, the commissions they issue to the pro-military unions were all A-level or even S-level big tasks. This time it's just a sea-level escort mission. The remuneration is so rich. Moreover, the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce also passed the pro-military union. In addition, 3 B-class support corps were indicated. A sea-level mission found 4 support corps to participate. It's anomalous. Sophie privately fought with the 3 supporters. They also know very little about the commission. The Gold Chamber of Commerce is also secretive. So there must be something wrong with this commission. For Lu Feng's safety, Sophie hoped he would not take the commission. But Lu Feng still had to take it. Because their legions are poor. I still owe a but, and I haven't paid it back. However, Lu Feng also made some sense when he heard what Sophie said. In order not to have an accident with Ken's beta. So he decided to leave them behind. Do it yourself. Sophie saw that he insisted on taking it. Indicates that I have a proposal. The B-level support group is really extraordinary. This day is the day when Lu Feng executes the entrustment to escort the supplies. For Lu Feng's safety, Sophie went with him. That way, even if you are in danger, the duo can also easily escape. The other 3 support corps are all B-class. They are numerous. They are the bloodthirsty support corps. The head of the regiment is for the 8th Order Sky Insight. Dead Ball Legion. The head of the regiment is a 7th Order martial artist. Riders support the corps. The head of the regiment is an 8th Order Crystal Knight. Be a knight, an iron-backed tin with dragon blood. The impact is extremely strong. According to Sophie's knowledge of their intelligence, the relationship between the 3 is as light as brothers. At this moment, they have entered the savannah of longevity. Safe on the road for the time being. Ignore Lu Feng's meditation and cultivation. Try to break through the edge and sell your studies. It's a pity that he didn't succeed. And the core of the Chinese internal strength he cultivated was Chongxue. Rush through the 7 paths in your body. The exercises are considered small successes. Although he cultivated hard, at present, only the top 5 schools have been opened. He has not been able to break away from the last 2 studies. But once he broke through the 7 major school sales, strength will reach holiness. If you cultivate Huaxia's internal strength to the last chapter, then no one in this other world will be able to match him. Suddenly, the carriage stopped. An uncle came over to inform Lu Feng. Their steward invited Lu Feng to go. If it's business, then Lu Feng followed the uncle to a camp tent. The steward didn't just invite him. 3 other regimental commanders were also invited. They are ball kills. Bloodwolf. Gao Gang. When the steward saw that everyone had arrived, he introduced himself. I'm Huan, the host of this session of the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. He summoned 4 of them. It's the next route for business. Lu Feng was a little puzzled when he heard this. The route has long been set. What else is there to discuss? Good, he said. You've got something to hide from us. Haha. Brother Lu is really good at laughing. About the content of the task, I've already told you all. There is nothing to hide. Look at what he says. Lu Feng didn't embarrass him anymore. Huan began to talk. His transport routes. This place of poor talk. Here are a few of them. Be careful. And then there's our Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. In addition to hiring everybody, a team escort was also arranged. But here it is. They're going to do the opposite. The 3 regiment commanders listened. It feels like he's talking nonsense. Didn't think much about it. On the contrary, Lu Feng felt that there was a big problem. He asked Huan about the fact that this time in addition to transporting ordinary goods, what else is there? So many people were dispatched. It's a bit of a big battle, Huan said with a serious face. This matter is confidential to the chamber. I can't tell you enough. Lu Feng became even more curious when he heard him. If he didn't say anything, he would quit the facility. At this moment, the other 3 regiment commanders also realized that something was wrong. At this time, Huan stood up excitedly and said, as long as a few people can successfully complete this commission, our Chamber of Commerce is willing to pay an additional 3 times the original honorarium. U4+ ratings. As soon as the words fell, Lu Feng immediately changed his face and agreed. As long as the money is in place, it's easy to say anything. Does the boss have any other requirements? The newspaper on the side was stunned. He was speechless. Since a few don't make sense. The matter was settled. The newly added deposit will be delivered to you later. Lu Feng and the 3 regiment commanders left the camp. Before he could take a few steps, the 3 regiment leaders concealed Lu Feng. It means that there is a big secret to share with him. It just so happened that Lu Feng just wanted to have an in-depth understanding with them. The 4 of them came to a thatched hut not far from the camp. The 3 regimental commanders immediately show their mouths. There are no secrets at all. It's that they feel that the 4 families have too little money. So I want the 3 of them to kick Lu Feng out. Those who know each other will consciously quit. Even if you make a friend. Otherwise die. Lu Feng felt a little reasonable when he heard them say this. It is true that the fewer people who divide the money, the better. At this moment, several regiment commanders thought that he was going to withdraw. Contrary. Lu Feng's face was gloomy. Let's talk about it. How about the exit of the 3 of you? The 3 regiment commanders were dumbfounded. The surname is Lu. Don't be embarrassed. You're killing yourself. Hee. Then let's use strength to speak. I don't know if the 3 heads of the regiment are coming together. Or who comes first? At this moment, the 3 regiment leaders were successfully provoked by Lu Feng. Today, they are going to teach Lu Feng a good lesson, who doesn't know what the sky is high and thick. The 3 regiment commanders, in order to get more money, they were going to kick Lu Feng out. But Lu Feng refused to cooperate. The 3 had no choice but to use force to solve the problem. The Blood Wolf was the first to attack. A sword slashed at Lu Feng. He dodged it. But that's not all. The Blood Wolf flung the dirt on the ground at Lu Feng with his sword. Lu Feng had no choice but to resist with his hands. Seek to kill and take advantage of this sneak attack. It's a pity it's too slow. Lu Feng turned around and resisted with his sword. At this time, a punch knocked him back a few meters. Bao Gang seized the opportunity. Riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex, stabbed Lu Feng with the long sword in his hand. Moment of truth. Lu Feng jumped behind them. And the attack of the 3 just now was just a warm-up. Now they're going to do their best. Suddenly, a group of spectators came in the distance. Among them is Sophie. He desperately cheered for Lu Feng. Lu Feng saw this scene and wanted to shake hands and make peace. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. But the Blood Wolf disagreed. Things have to be figured out today. So he let out cruel words. I'll give you 10 seconds. If it's still in the way, then don't blame Lao Tzu for deducting your salary for a year. When they heard this, they ran. Now that's all that's left for Sophie. The Blood Wolf thought he was here to help Lu Feng deal with them. Unfortunately, not. He came to see the play. Besides, it was enough for Lu Feng to deal with them alone. The 3 of them immediately rushed towards Lu Feng and launched a fierce attack. They put their combined skills to work. It's a blast. Lu Feng was still a little jealous of their combined skills at first. But I never expected it. The combined technique in their mouths turned out to be a turn attack, commonly known as will warfare. This is to consume Lu Feng alive. Lu Feng had no choice but to cast a mirror doppelganger. Now it's 2-3. The 3 of them were amazed to see this skill of his. Mistaken for a magician. At this moment, they finally realized how powerful Lu Feng was. The 3 of them rushed up. At the same time, an attack was launched on Lu Feng. Lu Feng just caught them all. He unleashed a double attack. 1 arrow defeated them. At this time, the Blood Wolf gasped and muttered. You are the Holy Street. No, no, no. I'm only in 9th order. The 3 of them were taken aback. Unexpectedly, Lu Feng was actually a 9-time master. No wonder he couldn't be beaten. At this time, Huan walked over. Seeing the 3 regiment commanders besieging Lu Feng, he came to the police. The Blood Wolf hurriedly hugged Lu Feng and explained. We're just talking. Lu Feng saw what the Blood Wolf meant. So he told Huan. We're really talking. Then the 4 of them left. Back to the tent. Now the winner is decided. Who's going to quit? When the 3 of them heard this, they immediately bowed and apologized to Lu Feng. There are a lot of people who will let us go. Then they took out the agenda and their remuneration to Lu Feng. Lu Feng decisively refused. is to want their mercenary group to include the three of them. The three of them were stunned. The next second, he agreed to Lu Feng with a smile. Because they really didn't expect it. Can even hug the big party of the ninth boss. The fool won't agree. At this moment, Lu Feng was dumbfounded. It's not what I imagined. Huan, who was in the distance, watched them leave. Then he asked the woman behind him, "What do you think of the one named Lu Feng? He's strong." The combination of the three blood wolves was not enough for him to exert all his strength. If I had been with him, I don't have the ability to grasp it completely. You're coming home.